Hello beauties, welcome back to the Jolie beauty channel and happy new year from Loki. No, he won't do it. I tried my best. I tried. He's gone now. Hello beauties, welcome back to the Jolie beauty channel and happy new year. I hope it's not too late to say that. Yeah, so this is my first video of 2021 and what a relief to finally say it's a new year. Let's put 2020 behind us. We're all over that. So I thought, what better way to start off the new year by showing you my flawless foundation routine. I feel like I have completely had time this year to sit down and perfect my base, and I want to share all my tips and tricks with you. PS, if you're going to say something about my hair, that means you don't follow me on Instagram. So why not go give me a follow? My username is jolie.cash. And I really love using Instagram to connect with you guys some more. I'm always posting stories, questions and answers, videos of Loki. So if you want to see more of that kind of content, then make sure to give me a follow. Should they follow us on Instagram? What do you think? I think that's a yes. You're saying yes, follow us on Instagram. So if that sounds good and you want to see my routine and what products I've been loving and using, then stay tuned. We're going to get into it right now. Let's get the kitty ears out. So personally for me, the key to getting that flawless base and the perfect foundation is definitely down to the skin prep. I have slightly dehydrated skin and I feel like I could do with a little bit more moisture in places for my foundation to look really glowy and beautiful. So I always prep my skin using my fave, which is the Uni-Glow Skin Perfecting Elixir. I just take a couple of drops of this and just smooth it into the skin. And this just gives this gorgeous lit from within glow. The Uni-Glow Elixir has ingredients like hyaluronic acid, so it really hydrates and nourishes. So you kind of feel like you're doing something really good for your skin as well. I also like to use the Bright Eyes Serum, which is from the same range. And I just tap in a little bit of this underneath my eyes. And this is the perfect base for concealer. Sometimes if you use an ordinary eye cream, your concealer can kind of get like a little bit slippy and creasy and start to like settle in those lines. We don't want that, sis. So this is the perfect kind of texture. It's like a lightweight serum, and that means that when your concealer goes over it, it'll plump up all those lines and creases and make sure that your concealer just stays in place all day. Now we're on to foundation. So the foundation that I've been loving recently is the Anastasia Beverly Hills, and this is the Luminous foundation. And some of you guys might be a little bit surprised because I have been such a die-hard fan of the Illamasqua Skin Base for so many years, and I absolutely still love that foundation. What I find with the Anastasia Beverly Hills one is that it gives a little bit more longevity to the wear. The Illamasqua one, the things that I loved about it was it gave a really high coverage, a flawless feel to the skin, but it also was very lightweight and beautiful, which I think just works so well in everyday life and on brides. It was my absolute fave. This one has all those properties, but I feel like at the end of the day, this is still exactly where I've put it. The Illamasqua one would not look as strong during the day. There'd be patches where I could see definitely on my chin, even if I set it with a powder and use a setting spray. So yeah, this is actually my new fave. My shade for reference, if you are used to following my shade numbers, this one is 315N. The only thing I don't like is my pump is broken, or it just doesn't pump very well anymore, but I am kind of due a new bottle anyway. So let's talk about what you should use to apply your foundation. Now, this is totally personal preference. As a makeup artist, I am totally used to using brushes all the time, but sometimes on myself I do use a sponge as well. I feel if you're looking for a more full coverage look, then a brush is definitely the way to go, and a sponge helps you to build up layers. So if you're looking for a slightly more natural look, then maybe a sponge is the way to go. It really depends on what effect you're looking for. And I'm just going to use a buffing brush to buff this in all over the skin. Now, really, the purpose of a foundation isn't to cover everything. It is just to even your skin tone. I feel like when you're looking at your shade match, you should always be matching to your body more than the colour of your face, especially if you're a tanner, because your face always seems to be a little bit more pale than your body normally. I am working with a new camera today, so if things are going in and out of focus, I do apologise. I will work harder on the next one if that's the case. Hopefully it should look good though. Always make sure to bring your foundation a little bit down your neck as well. That will really help you with the blending. Not my phone. That's my foundation done, and I'm just going to move on to concealer. So the concealer that I'm using today is the Too Faced Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer, and I'm using this in the shade Light Beige. Because I'm going to focus this concealer mainly on my under eyes and the places that I want to highlight a little bit, this is a slightly lighter shade. So I just like to pop, mainly focusing on the inner corner and then on the outer of the eye like this. This is where I find the face needs a little bit more light drawn to it. I also like to add a little bit on my chin and some on my forehead as well. So I'm just buffing that product in. I find leaving that concealer to set a little bit before you start buffing it helps you to keep it exactly where you want it. If you do it when it's too wet, it can sometimes move. If you prefer, you can use a blender to blend your concealer in under the eyes. I think sponges are so beautiful. If you prefer a sponge, you can definitely use one as well. I have the Base Blend sponge here, and this fits perfectly underneath the eye. But I just do like using brushes every now and again. Now my concealer is on, I am just going to use a little bit of setting powder just to quickly set the underneath of my eyes. This is because it's an area that's prone to creasing, so if you leave the concealer there too long, it will settle into your lines. We don't want that, so let's set them first. I'm going to leave the rest of the face unset because I'm going to do a little bit of cream contour slash bronzer. And I'm just taking a fluffy brush, and this is the Charlotte Tilbury powder. What's it called? Airbrush Flawless Finish Complexion Perfecting Micro Powder. This is in the shade medium, and yes, I'm just making sure I have absolutely no creasing happening first because we don't want to set any of those creases into place. And then I'm just going over with a touch of powder. You really don't need very much at all, and that will just make sure that your concealer isn't creasing into those lines. It's important not to set the rest of the face because we want to go in with a cream product, and a cream product over a powder nearly 99% of the time will not work for you. So make sure if you're putting cream on, it's on top of cream if you want the best results. For cream bronzer today, I'm using the Milk Makeup stick. This is in the shade Baked. And I'm just going to take this on an angled brush. I used to like going in with this straight from the applicator, but actually I found if you want a little bit more control, then again using a brush is the way to get that. And although that doesn't matter so much on the forehead, when we get to the cheek area here, using a sponge or applying it straight to the face can make it a little bit more inaccurate, and you can end up bringing your cheeks down a little bit. I'll show you what I mean. So taking the brush, and I've got some of that milk bronzer on it, I'm going to start carving out my cheekbones, creating depth and shape where I want it. And by stippling the product just on top of my cheekbone, this ensures that I don't go too low with the product. By going too low with the product here, I'm going to drag my cheek down. It's going to make my face look not as lifted as I want it to. By using the brush at this point, I can make sure that all my strokes are going nice and upwards, and I'm not dragging anything down into this portion of my face. I am going in with a powder bronzer in a mauve to set this all into place. I do find just by using a cream product underneath, it gives it a little bit more depth. I also like to pop a little bit of this along my chin. This just gives me a little bit more extra definition, kind of gives you that sculpted look. And I'm also going to pop a tiny bit on the end of my nose, and that's just going to help. Loki, I'll be out in a minute. My doggy's crying. Now all my cream products are into place, I can go ahead and just lightly set my face. I'm just going to go in with the same powder again and just tap it on the areas where I really don't want much shine. So focusing on the centre of my forehead, on my nose, and around my nasio folds. I don't know why I said that.
Nasio folds.
It's funny. Moving on to powder bronzer. So I'm going to be using the Second Skin collection, and this bronzer is in the shade Latte, and it's such the perfect colour for a beautiful buildable bronze. I'm going in with a slightly more angled brush for this, because I want to control where I'm putting the warmth again. I don't want to just go over with a big brush where I've just created all that nice definition. I want to enhance that definition, and by using a more sculpted brush, that will help me to achieve that. So just kind of copying what I have just put down, popping this on the forehead. And you can see now the dimension I have back in my skin. A little bit on my cheeks again. Again, I'm going upwards, always upwards, never downwards, always upwards, like that. So if you guys don't know, I also do a couple of lives a week on my Facebook page. I'd absolutely love it if you come to join me there. It's so much fun, just kind of like an hour of chatting with all of you guys, and honestly through this lockdown it's really been getting me through each day. It's giving me something to look forward to. I've enjoyed every single minute. I do love doing YouTube as well, but my lives are also fun, so I'm being busy with the lockdown. I will leave the link in the description bar below, so make sure to go check it out. We also have a Facebook group community with over 7,000 members now, which is just insane. So I'll also link that down below if you're interested in joining us over there. It is such a fabulous community of such supportive people, and you will just absolutely love it if you love makeup. Next up, I'm just going to add a little bit of blush. This is also the Second Skin collection and in the shade Rendezvous, and this shade is just so gorgeous. It's like the perfect mix of like peachy just with a hint of pink, so it doesn't look too orangey. It is stunning, and it works on so many different skin tones because it's very buildable. I like to put my blusher a little bit on the apples of my cheeks because actually I need a little bit more volume here. If you have rounder cheeks, you want to put your blusher a little bit further back here. If you guys would like, I've thought about doing a where you should put blusher for different face shapes, or maybe just doing what is your face shape, because I know a lot of people struggle with even defining what face shape they have in the first place. If you guys think that's a good video idea, let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to hear if you'd be interested in that. I think the blush just really pulls everything together so beautifully. I also like to just put a little bit sometimes on my forehead and a little bit on my nose, like that. Especially in summer, which is not at the minute, it is January, but we can dream. So if you love a more matte looking skin, you can totally stop here. I am going to add a little bit of highlight to the skin, just because I like a little bit of extra shine. This is the Second Skin collection again, and this is the highlighter in the shade Dreaming. It's a gorgeous champagne colour. I'm just going to take a little bit of that on my cheekbones. The beautiful thing about these highlighters are they're just so buildable. So you can have a really soft look, or you can have a little bit more of a blinding look if that's what you're into. Oh my god, it's just so beautiful. Can you just drown me in this, please? Smother me in it. And I like to put a little bit on the top of my forehead, just above my brow. A tiny bit on my Cupid's bow. And I like to take a little finger.
That's what she said.
And put it down my nose. Just on the centre here. And that gives me the illusion of a slightly thinner nose. I do want to add just a little bit more definition to my nose, so for that I'm going to take my perfectly sculpted contour palette here, and I'm going to use this shade here. It is a perfect shadow colour for my skin tone. It's got that perfect amount of grey in it, so it doesn't look too orange and obvious on the nose. I like to take an angled fluffy brush for this, and I'm just going to pop a little bit on the end of my nose, just a touch, and that will shorten my nose a little bit. And I'm just going to go down the sides of my nose ever so slightly. Such a touch. You don't want to overcook this, but if you do, don't worry, I'm going to show you how to fix it. So that's just a slight touch of that powder, and you can just see what a difference that makes. So quick, so easy. No crazy creams and all this blending that you see on these like Instagram tutorials, which is just unrealistic for every day. If you do overcook it like I said and it just looks a little bit obvious, what you can do is take your foundation brush or your sponge and just slightly pat it over the lines. And as you can see, that just takes the edge off a little bit, blends it in a little bit better. If that's still not doing it for you, you could take a more skin coloured powder, your setting powder, you could dust that over it. I personally in this palette like to use this colour here, and I'll just pat it over the contour, and then that will just make it that little bit more subtle if you're really not used to wearing a nose contour. I think the biggest trick is look at it from the side. If you can see a line, you've gone a bit heavy. You don't want to see a line when you turn to the side. Now, if you're going to listen to one thing in this video, it should be skin prep. If you're going to listen to the second thing in this video, it's going to be use a finishing spray. My favourite is obviously the Uniglow Mythical Mist. This was specifically created to get that lit from within look after you've finished your makeup. What it does is it merges all those creams and powders together, giving you this gorgeous glowing skin finish. I literally can't do my makeup anymore without finishing off with this spray. It's so refreshing, so beautiful, and it's also so great to take with you on the go. So if your makeup starts looking a little bit cakey or the powders start to look a bit chalky, spritz of that and you're good to go. As I'm here, I may as well just do my lips quickly with you. So I'm just going to use the NYX lip liner. This is in the shade Nude. To complete the look, I'm just going to finish with a nourishing lip oil. This one is from e.l.f. and it's in the shade Nude Kiss. Does anybody else's lips get so dry in the winter? It's just a constant battle of lip scrubs, lip masks, and they never get any better, so let my hair free. So that's my full flawless foundation routine. I hope you really enjoyed it and you picked up some hints and tips. I'm always chopping and changing my products, so if you like these videos that focus on one thing like skin, then make sure to give the video a big thumbs up and let me know in the comments down below. As I said in the tutorial, I'd absolutely love it if you came and joined us on our Facebook lives twice a week and also joined the Facebook group. If you don't follow me on Instagram as well, my personal Instagram is jolie.cash. And of course, we have the brand Instagram, which is Jolie Beauty, if you want to give us a follow. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and